Got my gavel here. So. Call the meeting to order. Mr. Ebel, are we broadcasting?
Yes, sir.
All right. It is 6 p.m., possibly 6:01 or 6:02 p.m. now on March 2nd. We are here for a public hearing on a proposed consent decree regarding an appeal of Board of Zoning Appeals case number SYCB 190013, which had been continued from a prior date to this date. And I understand there is potential reason to continue it once more. Who wants to speak first here as to this, first of all, as to where we are?
Well, I'll go ahead and provide a quick update to the trustees and the township. There was progress, obviously, that was made since the last continuance. Now the home developer, the developer has officially retained Red Knot as its home builder. And instead of now, our last, I think, continuance we requested was because to kind of hopefully to finalize the developer, a home builder, that's occurred. And now, as Steve Hunt, counsel for the HOA, and the residents will hopefully confirm and agree with, just more time is needed to go ahead and make sure all the materials with respect to Red Knot and all the information that needs to be presented to the residents in the HOA, is distributed. I think that's my understanding. Is that correct, Steve?
Yeah, we've reached a tentative agreement. They've selected the builder, as Scott indicated, and we are in the process of sending out kind of a summary of the plans that'll be built, background on Red Knot, which is a great builder, and the consent decree, and it's going out to about 450 homeowners, and we think a continuance till the 9th at 4:30 will be ready to go, and hopefully present everything to the trustees and they can make a decision that night.
And Steve said, I think I understand that the trustees are kind of slammed on March 16th. So I would recommend that, March 9th at 4:30 p.m. would allow, and I've confirmed this with Tom Tepe, him and his client will be available at that time. And that will also keep us on pace for, we've got a court date, assuming, with respect to the court hearing the reasonableness of the consent decree, the proposed consent decree, assuming it's passed by the trustees. So that would keep us on that, I guess, date, or that timeline.
Okay. I understand the talk is 4:30 that day. And Scott, I understand also you have a conflict later in the evening there, but that I will say that's awfully early for a public hearing where we expect people who are members of the public who have jobs to be able to attend. Is there anything we can do about that, or do the neighborhoods have any concerns they've expressed about that?
Steve here, I think we can get that to work. Tom Tepe had a hearing later in the evening also, and that's the only way we could get it to work on the 9th.
Steve Ginn, how do you feel about that?
Well, I agree that it is working hours for like Pete Mallow. I know he might be tied up, but I guess a lot would depend on the feedback that we get. We just started emailing out all the packages today. And so the next 4 or 5 days should tell us a lot. If there's a lot of conversation or, questioning or uncertainty in the feedback we get, that might mean that more people would want to get involved. Or we even consider, we were talking over today about whether we would host a Zoom over the weekend to allow residents to come on board, and we could have a little Q&A, like Saturday, to kind of bring up any other questions people might have if there's that many. Now, looking at from the glass is half full, we're hoping it will just get a lot of, hey, that's great, glad to see what you did. They might have a couple of little questions. And in that case, I don't think you'd have a lot of people participating if we get enough feedback that looks positive. But I can't really predict that. I just know that over 2 years of working on this, I think we've finally got it in a place where it's a good thing. And the couple that I got back already in the first hour were positive. So I just can't predict, but I should know more as the week goes on if it's going to get more complicated. But I don't anticipate that, hopefully.
If you would stay in touch with the township about that, if there is substantial feedback where people want to appear and the time's a problem, we'll have to look at continuing again if we go to that date. But otherwise, I guess we're good going to that if there's a motion and the trustees vote accordingly. So anything else to cover as to this, or is there a motion to continue anyone wants to make? All right, well, I will move that we continue this hearing in progress to Tuesday, March 9th at 4:30 PM for the reasons noted.
Second.
Any further discussion as to that? All right, then let's call the question here. I'll go ahead and do that. Mr. Weedman?
Aye.
Mr. LaBarbera?
Aye.
And Mr. James? Aye. Very good. This hearing, therefore, shall be adjourned for now and continued until March 9th at 4:30 PM. Anything further from anyone? I move to adjourn then.
Thank you.
Second. Thanks,
All right, all in
Scott. Thanks,
favor?
Steve.
Aye.
Thanks, Steve.
Guys, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. All right, we'll be back on at 6:45 for the CIC meeting.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Have a
Thanks,
good one.
thanks.
Have a good one.